remember that beanstalk when it starts. Just a quick sketch, and we give you like 1 minute. It's not a big deal.
I don't know what to see. No example of this, ladies. Don't overdo it.
You're supposed to be drawing a beanstalk.
Yeah, no beanstalk.
Remember what the function of Jack's beanstalk is? Lab. Yeah. So we need. I think thicker. Longer footholds. Maybe some thorns.
We're collaborating creatively.
There is also an app called Sketchbook Express. This is a way that you can take out the iPads, and instead of having them draw this in their launch log, you can have them sketch it in their iPads using that app Sketchbook. We didn't pull all of those out today because we didn't want to get into that, but that is a good place where you can stick in the technology and they can draw their beanstalk using that app. Everybody have like just a quick, general, basic on the back? Got it? Okay. Up on the screen, I have put a slide of the design process. Now, for those of you that have a pretty strong science background, I want you to realize that this is different than the scientific method. And so when we teach this, we're going to have to really explain to the kids, if they've gotten that drilled in their mind, that this is a different process than the scientific method. It starts at the top with ask. Ask with guided discussions and talk about what the problem is, okay? And then you're going to go to explore. And we'll talk about each one of these in detail in just a minute. But then you go to model, and then you go to evaluate, and then explain, and then starts back up the top again. I brought with me the inquiry poster that I have hanging in my classroom, just because I wanted to show you how similar the inquiry process is in Week 21 to the design process in Project Leadaway and the engineering process, the engineering design process. Number one in inquiry is generate ideas and questions, and that's the same as ask. Okay. The second one was make a conjecture. That's explore. All right. Collect information would be model. Confirm, revise your conjecture. That would be evaluate. And then share your findings. That's explain. So I was talking to my staff about trying to figure out when we're going to fit this in and how we're going to find time to do these kinds of things. And I talked to some of my staff and said, look, Week 21 wants us to teach this process. We don't necessarily have to make it the exact project that they have in our Week 21 manual. We're still teaching the inquiry process. It's called the design process in a Project Leadaway. So when you're spending time in your classroom, like on Friday Inquiry Day, you can be doing a Project Leadaway activity. You're still doing the inquiry process that Week 21 wants you to make sure that you're covering. So I just wanted to share that with you and put your minds at ease that we're really already doing a lot of this. Okay? All right, so with this activity, we would guide a discussion about the problem. Jack needs to get up the beanstalk. We need to make a beanstalk that's tall enough to get to the top, to get to the clouds. We would define the problem. You could even have a chart paper out and you could be jotting down some of the things that they're coming up with as you're having this class discussion. The second step is to allow the kids to explore a little bit. They can get in small groups, which I'm going to put you in small groups in just a minute. I want you to think about your idea of building a beanstalk, not necessarily the one that's in the story. Okay? They can use, again, their pencil. They're going to sketch it in the second box on their launch log. I want you to know that you are going to build a beanstalk using only pipe cleaners today. So keep that in mind as you are going to sketch a little idea of what your beanstalk beanstalk might look like, you are going to be given 10 height meters today to build the tallest beanstalk that you can. Keeping in mind the function that Jack has to be able to climb it to get to the top, and it has to hold him. Okay? So as you've got that in your mind, I want you to use the second box to draw what maybe you think your beanstalk's going to look like. Give yourself like a minute or two just to do a quick sketch of what you think you want to design. Is that Jack has to be able to get up this, has to be sturdy enough in his body. So we're looking for height, and it has to stand on its own. It can't be sitting on its own.
Brick stock. Let's build this. We're gonna build this. So there.
I'm doing a spring.
A few people doing theirs, we're going to swipe through, and then Anne's been getting texts from the group. We've got Arrowhead and Washington and Miles having the same training today at Arrowhead, aren't they? And they've been sending pictures of some of their beanstalk designs. So we're going to put theirs up too, so you can kind of see some examples. But here's some shots of people working on it. Pay attention to their design. It's kind of hard to see on some of them, but look around at your neighbors too and see what do they do, what is the basis of their design. Are they really focused more on strength? Are they focused more on height? Are they looking at what kind of a face did they draw? Or what kind of a face are they working on? A lot of people have used like a coil design. Again, it has to be, we want the tallest we can get, but it also has to stand alone. And so if it's super tall, but it flops right over, that's not going to, that's not the function. It's not meter, not need. Do you want to put your phone up here? You want to see? Okay.
We're still assembling.
How many sticks did you use?
So who wanted this cake?
First grade, maybe 12. First grade,
Jack was already on the ground. I want you to pretend that the goose laid the egg in the clouds, and now Jack has to be able to come down the beanstalk. The beanstalk has to be able to hold the egg. to give you a plastic egg. And not only does your beanstalk have to stand tall and serve its function, but now the structure also has to hold the egg and stay upright. So you might need to, if we go back to
Jack.
Yeah, we want to know who this is, Jack. Because Jack seems pretty big.
Some of the people that had a really tall beanstalk just changed the top just a touch to make it hold that egg, but then we're struggling with the weight of the egg and was starting to tip their beanstalk, so they were trying to bend. I saw a lot of people trying to do that. But I want you to think, like there's another example of a prong. Oh, that looks like a rocking chair. I loved it. It's sitting right there. Some wing shorter to keep the strength in order to keep their egg. But again, do you kind of see how they had to go back to the drawing board because of the problem, and they had to change what they were thinking and reevaluate what they did? And so there's really a lot more problem solving in this than you think. Even though you're having fun and you're playing, think about what's going through your mind and what you're doing in your brain as you're going through that design process again. You're evaluating, you explore it, see if it works, you model it. If it doesn't work, you go back to the drawing board and you start again. I didn't tell you to do anything. I didn't give you any directions. Do this, try this. I just let you play and see what happened and then go back and try again. You got ideas from your neighbors, but you kind of see as the teacher, you're just the facilitator of the classroom. You're walking around, you're questioning, what do you think, what did you do, what do you think is going to happen if you do this, but you're not giving them any information or telling them the right answer. They're doing all of that on their own. So, in the end, you would discuss the function of the beanstalk and the structure of the beanstalk. And again, this is a kindergarten activity. You would keep it at that. That's pretty intense for a 5-year-old to talk about that and think about what it is that what's happening here. Is there any questions? Did you have fun? I mean, was it fun? Good. I'm glad. We're going to give you like a 5. Yes, Cheryl, we need to go.
From my background with creative problem, one of the things I'd really like you to think about is when you're working in this kind of realm, you're not looking at the one right answer. You keep questioning, like Hillary said, and asking other questions. Oh, that's interesting. Talk to me about that, rather than saying, yes, that's right, or making a suggestion. Because that's the important piece, is self-discovery, that creativity piece. And you are deferring all